He has dedicated himself to serve others, both current and future generations, and those whose memory must not be neglected.
Prince William did what? That was the collective gasp across Britain when news broke that Prince William had made a surprising decision regarding the royal titles of Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex, the children of Prince Edward and Duchess Sophie. In a monarchy steeped in centuries of tradition, such changes are rare and often signal deeper shifts within the royal family.
He has dedicated himself to serve others, both current and future generations, and those whose memory must not be neglected.
A Quiet Life by design, Lady Louise Windsor and her younger brother James, Earl of Wessex, were born into a world that values pomp, tradition, and lineage. Yet from the outset, their lives were notably different from their cousins. Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, made a deliberate and unusual choice. Despite their children's entitlement to be known as His Royal Highness and Her Royal Highness, they opted not to use these styles. The rationale was simple: to give their children as normal a childhood as possible. Though they were grandchildren of the late Queen Elizabeth II through the male line, which, according to letters patent issued by King George V in 1917, technically made them prince and princess, the decision was made to refer to them simply as children of an earl.
He kind of he wriggles around quite a lot, and he doesn't want to go to sleep that much, which is a little bit of a problem. But he's not just Catherine, but you know, she's doing a fantastic job. For me, Catherine and now little George are my priority.
Lady Louise grew up mostly out of the limelight, with interests ranging from equestrian sports to academic pursuits. James, the youngest grandchild of the Queen, also enjoyed a more sheltered upbringing. This approach was aligned with Sophie's often expressed desire for her children to live lives as normal as possible. In an interview, the Duchess remarked that she and Prince Edward were raising their children with the expectation that they would eventually need to forge careers outside of royal duties. Marie Claire III. Prince William's vision for a streamlined monarchy.
You know, differently to our other generations, and very much feel if I can do it myself, I want to do it myself, and the system takes over or it's approach things differently. But I think driving your son and your wife away from hospital.
Fast forward to the present, and Prince William, now Prince of Wales and heir to the British throne, is reshaping the royal landscape. Following the example set by his father, King Charles III, William has made it clear he supports a slimmed-down monarchy. This model focuses on a smaller group of working royals who actively represent the crown.
That's what we're here for, and as I think you'll see tonight, the amount of youth from Africa who'll be in here, they'll be letting you know and letting everyone know that it matters.
In William's view, efficiency, transparency, and public service must define the modern monarchy. The goal is a royal family that is not only more relatable to the public, but also less costly and less sprawling. This backdrop makes his decision to revisit the roles and titles of Lady Louise and James especially noteworthy. Repositioning two young royals.
More shock and dauntingness was more of the feeling I felt, but it was the thing is, it's I think I was on such a high. I think I was on such a high anyway, and so was.
While the specifics of William's plan have not been publicly released in full, sources close to the palace suggest that he has initiated discussions about granting Lady Louise and James more official recognition and potentially active royal roles. These moves could involve the use of the HRH style or even new titles. To royal observers, the implications are clear.
And just really thrilled. The exuberance and energy that's going to be in this room tonight around Earthshot and Saturn. Everyone wants some hope and wants some optimism, and I think the Earthshot encompasses.
William sees potential in these two young royals to support the Crown's duties and expand its public-facing team, especially as older generations reduce their involvement or retire altogether. Lady Louise, now in her early 20s, has already earned admiration for her poise during public appearances, especially during family events and state occasions such as Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. She has also shown a strong interest in history, particularly royal history, and has been described as quietly confident and committed. James, Earl of Wessex, while still a teenager, has increasingly participated in royal events and has made a positive impression during official engagements, suggesting a readiness to step into a more public role in the coming years. Facebook 1. Symbolism and strategy in royal titles.
I've been greatly looking forward to the time I could bring Earthshot to Africa. I love this continent and spent many a year looking around, exploring. Without them, every family tries to do what they can to sort of help with the environment, and we go through all the basics of recycling and making sure.
The potential reassignment or formal acknowledgement of their titles isn't just a gesture. In royal circles, titles signify more than status. They mark one's place in the line of duty and succession. Reinstating or recognizing royal status for Louise and James could symbolize a subtle, strategic expansion of the working royal roster. But it also reflects William's strategic acumen. With Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepping back from their roles and Prince Andrew sidelined from public life, there's a need for dependable, relatable royals to fill the gap. Louise and James fit that profile perfectly. Young, grounded, and capable of connecting with a generation that expects accountability and accessibility from its public figures. Public response and media reaction. Unsurprisingly, the British public and media have responded with a mix of intrigue and skepticism. While some applaud the move as a natural evolution and a smart way to rejuvenate the monarchy, others express concern about dragging young individuals into the media spotlight they've largely avoided. Supporters argue that Lady Louise and James represent a new generation of royals who can modernize the institution. They see these changes as a win for inclusivity and adaptability, especially if the young royals continue to balance personal development with public service. Critics, however, point out the potential psychological toll of sudden public exposure, especially for James, who is still finishing his education. They argue that a low-profile life is more aligned with what their parents originally intended, and that sudden elevation could feel forced or premature. Still, royal experts believe that William, who has himself grown up under immense public scrutiny, understands the pressures involved and is unlikely to rush such a transition. Any changes would be gradual, measured, and closely managed to ensure the well-being of both Louise and James. Comparisons to other royal cousins. It's also interesting to compare their potential rise with other royal cousins, particularly Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. Though not working royals, they occasionally carry out duties on behalf of the Queen and have been active in charitable causes. Their mixed roles highlight the challenges of finding the right balance between duty and personal life. William may be seeking a hybrid model for Louise and James, allowing them to lead semi-private lives while contributing meaningfully to royal causes and engagements. Such flexibility could be the key to keeping the monarchy relevant in an increasingly complex social and political landscape. The next generation's role. As the royal family looks toward the future, it must consider who will carry the torch. With the king in his 70s and other senior royals scaling back, William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, cannot manage the full slate of royal responsibilities alone. Their children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, are still years away from active royal duties. This creates a short to medium-term gap in available royals. Louise and James may well be the bridge. If groomed gradually and supported appropriately, they could represent the crown on international visits, attend national ceremonies, or champion causes aligned with younger audiences. Their fresh energy could revitalize public interest and support. A thoughtful shift, not a radical break, Prince William's re-evaluation of Lady Louise and James's royal roles is neither a break from tradition nor a publicity stunt. It's a thoughtful evolution, one grounded in necessity, opportunity, and a vision for a more modern monarchy. By potentially enhancing their roles, William isn't just recognizing the contributions they could make. He's also creating a sustainable model for the monarchy's future. One that is leaner, younger, and better connected to the people it serves. This is about continuity with a purpose. A royal family that serves rather than reigns. One that listens, adapts, and reflects the values of its citizens. Lady Louise and James, raised in modesty and shaped by a unique blend of privilege and privacy, may become the quiet powerhouses of this new chapter. And if that happens, it will be because of one bold decision made by a future king who understands both the weight of history and the demands of tomorrow. Want to keep up with the latest updates on royal news and transformations? Subscribe to our channel for detailed reports and behind-the-scenes insights.